Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 205th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, my 4 biggest tips for success in business. Now, what I'm going to be doing on this podcast is actually dropping in a Facebook Live that I did in the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group on June 10th. So this is the message I shared. It was my 4 biggest tips for success in business. And I thought, gosh, I really want to share this message with you guys as well. Now, you'll notice when I do this, I'm talking like, welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle live show. I'm talking about Facebook, all these things. So you'll notice that in there, but that's okay. I think that the message and the value that's in there is going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in that live next. And I hope you enjoy this discussion on my 4 biggest tips for having success in business. Hello, I'm just going to check my phone and make sure I'm streaming, and I want to pull it up because whenever I come in through this little live dashboard through Facebook, I actually don't see comments until it's done. So I just want to pull up the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group. Oh, I'm streaming live. Volume off so you don't hear me talking. Okay, perfect. Hello and welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle live show. My name is Katie Dodd and I run this Facebook community. Now, the first thing I want to say to all of you is thank you so much for being a part of this community. I know that you're all here for different reasons. Some of you are side hustlers. Some of you are full-time entrepreneurs. Some of you are just kind of dabbling. You haven't started anything yet, but you want to. You might be a dietitian, an intern, a student, or we do have a few people in the group who are just healthcare professionals, not specifically dietitians. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to chat with you guys about today, I wanted to share something that I shared with a group of dietitians last week. And this is really my 4 biggest tips for having success in business. So a couple things I want to share before I dive in. I am currently launching my BAP Accelerator program. This is my starting program if you want to build a business based in blogging. Get started with building your website, learning SEO, building your blog brand, all the things you need to create an online business. So I'm actually launching that today. Our first call starts at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's not too late to join. You can go to katiedodd.com to get in. And I will say what's unique about this particular special offer I'm doing is this program. It's the Blogging Accelerator program, the Accelerator Starter program. It is normally a self-paced course, and I'm doing 6 live calls over the summer with this group. So there's going to be accountability, momentum, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll probably talk about that later on in the call, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out for that. So back to the topic at hand, my 4 biggest tips for having success in business. Now, golly, a week ago today, I got back from Florida. I was in Florida for an entire week and had the most incredible time. I was there for the mastermind that I'm a part of, but then also I was hosting an event called Dietitian Side Hustle Live, not the live show where I stream every Monday, but an in-person live event. And then it was followed by 2.5 days of Smart Success Healthcare Live. And that was an event put on by my business coach, a bigger event. And we had, there were 14 dietitians there who kind of came through my affiliates. So people I kind of brought along with me. And most of them were at my workshop and then at the big event. And when we left the event, you guys, I can't even describe it. I say over and over and over again, nothing beats the power of in person. And I feel like I can say that, but it's so hard to understand until you're there. Every single person there got it. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came because momentum was high. You know, if we talk about how on fire are you for business, achieving your goals, doing all the things, is like 10 out of 10, 10 plus. So what I wanted to do with that group of dietitians is I wanted to meet up with them again. So we did a quick doodle, found the best time, and we got on a call on Friday at 5 o'clock. And most of the people showed up. I was so impressed that people took their time on Friday night to show up to a little Zoom call, and it was a virtual meetup. And what I was doing on that call was really checking in. Okay, we're no longer at this event. You were so motivated and on fire. How are you doing now? What is your plan? What do you want to do moving forward? Because my goal is I want all of you to win. I want all of you to achieve your big goals, dreams, and ambitions, but I understand that life happens. It is full of ups and downs, and this internal battle inside of our head can prevent us from reaching our big, audacious goals. So I really wanted to get on a call with them to provide that encouragement, that support, all that information of here is what you need to do next. So what I wanted to share with this community is something I shared more towards the end, and it was pretty much my four big tips for continued success. So I'm going to share what they are, and then I'm going to talk more about them. So my four biggest tips. If you want to have success in your side hustle, success in your business, success in entrepreneurship, take action, have goals, create better habits, and be in the right community. So I'm going to talk about action, goals, habits, and community, and I did write it down in my notes in case I forget what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first one is about taking action. Action leads to momentum. Momentum is, an object in motion stays in motion. Once momentum starts, whoo golly, it's so much easier to keep going. Once we stop, it is harder. I always think of like pushing a rock up a hill. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. You push it up, and all of a sudden you reach that tipping point, you got momentum, it's going down. But if we stop that rock at any point, well, golly, if we're going to push it back up the hill, that's a whole lot of work, right? And so when I was speaking to this particular group, we just left probably the best momentum of it ever. So my advice was take action. Take action, continue the momentum, because it is our responsibility to achieve our goals. No one's going to be like, dragging us along the journey. We have to do it ourselves. Now, taking action, it can be big or small. I often encourage people, make sure you're moving, even if it's slow. Now, fast momentum's always, I'm a big fan of that. But even if you're in a season when things have come up, life is crazy, as long as you're still putting one foot in front of the other, you're still going to achieve your goals. I remember when I built my blog business, I was, I built my blog in June of 2019, The Geriatric Dietitian. It's my primary blog. And I remember thinking like, man, I work a full-time job, mom of two kiddos, life is busy. And I remember thinking of like, man, what if I had 40 hours a week to work on this? It could be so much faster. And blogging is a long-term game, especially for the goals I had for making passive income through my website. And I remember there were moments when I thought, man, this is never going to work. But I decided I'm going to keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. It leads to results, even if the journey looks different than what we planned. So if you want to do something in business, side hustle, my biggest advice, my first piece of big advice is take action over and over and over again to continue the momentum. And I have this little quote I say to myself all the time. It's so simple. Keep going. Keep going. I have a No, I don't have it on me. Oh, I have a blank copy. I have this journal that I keep. It's through my business coach, Greg Todd. It's the GT planner for Get Time Planner. And oh, here it is. And I keep this every day. It's kind of like a planner, but it's also kind of like a journal. It's something where I it's about self-care. It's about business. It's about celebrating goals, celebrating wins. But there's also a section where I write a message to myself every day. And sometimes my messages are deep and detailed. Other times they're super high surface level. But something that I frequently write to myself is keep going. Oh, here, I found one. Keep going. So even for myself, that is something I continue to tell myself, because there's times in entrepreneurship where everything's awesome. There's other times when you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What did I get myself into? But as long as you keep going, you're going to win. So that's advice number one. Keep going. Number two is goals. I think that we all need to have goals in business. Now, at my Dietitian Side Hustle Live in-person workshop, what we did was we dreamed big. We got all of our ideas out of our head and on paper, 1-year goals, 2-year goals, 5-year goals. So like that really big audacious stuff. I want to do this. I want to do this. But then we got like a little bit more real. Like, okay, let's dream big, get the ideas out of our head on paper, but let's look at the next year. Let's look at the next year, then break it into quarters. What's that quote like? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time? I don't know. Sometimes we look at these big goals and it feels overwhelming, but when we break it down to one step at a time, it's not so overwhelming. And I'm a big fan of goal setting. In this community, every January, I do a free goal setting class. I tend to pin it. It's probably pinned. If you can't find it, let me know. And if you want to do it, like I provide like a little worksheet or something for you. It's like a workbook. But I'm a big fan of setting goals. I don't just want us to be like, I'm going to start a side hustle. I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to do this. Okay, that's wonderful. When? How? What are the action steps that you need to take to get there? So I'm a big fan If you want to have success in business, you need to have goals. You need to have goals. And it makes sense, right? I mean, we talk about this with clients: smart goals, smart, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. We got to do it ourselves for business. But more important than setting goals is continuing to come back and look at them. I mean, I think even I've been guilty of this in the past. I've set goals, and then at the end of the year, I pull it out of my drawer, I pull up the file. I'm like, oh, yeah, I said I was going to do that. In my planner at the very beginning, this is a quarterly planner, so I do it every 90 days. I actually have my goals, 3 big goals for each quarter in here. And I go back and I look at them on a regular basis. How am I doing? A little bit of a check in. Okay, am I meeting it? Am I close? Am I like making no movement? One thing about goals too, and this could be hard for a lot of dietitians who are perfectionists, is we have to be flexible and adaptable with our goals. If we're not moving on a goal, like I set this goal, but I've done no work, why? Maybe it doesn't align with you and your values and who you are, and that's okay. Maybe it's such a big goal that you're so overwhelmed that you're stuck in paralysis. It's okay to pivot, it's okay to change our goals, but I think the biggest thing is we can't just be like, put on blinders and be like, I'm just gonna ignore the thing I said I was gonna do. Because if we really truly want to achieve the things that we do want to achieve, then we need to be adaptable and flexible. So don't just create goals, create smart goals, but then continue to look at them, continue to come back to them, post them where you could see them. So the next tip I had is habits. So habits are those things that we do every day regardless of situation. Now, I know this might not sound super businessy, but think of the habits you have. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Some of us, it's different. A lot of times we pick up our phone and we turn off the alarm. You might start the scroll right then and there. You might get out of bed. You might go to the restroom. You might brush your teeth. You might get dressed. You might be like me and put in your contacts. Like, think of those things that you do every day regardless of the situation, right? Those are the habits, the things that we do day in and day out. And so if we have big, audacious goals, things we want to do in business, we need to develop habits that serve us in achieving those goals. Now, I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It's a faith-based book, but it is so lovely. And in it, it was talking about, and this is me paraphrasing it because I forget all the things, but essentially, if you want the life, then you need to live the lifestyle. Now, a good example of this would be like sports or something, right? So you might see someone who does triathlons or Ironmans, and their goal is to get to Kona and, like Hawaii where they do that big Ironman thing. Maybe you're like, oh man, I would love to live that life. I would love to do triathlons. But then when you think about the lifestyle of someone who's training for a triathlon, they are getting up in the morning. They are saying no to certain opportunities so that way they can say yes to training. They are training, running, swimming, biking. It is a commitment. It is hard. When it's hot outside, when it's raining outside, when it's snowing, right? They are showing up and they're living the lifestyle so that way they could have the life. So some of us want the life, but we don't want to do the lifestyle. And that's okay if you don't, for not like entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. But if you have a goal as an entrepreneur, as a side hustler, like maybe you want to start an online business, maybe you want to be a blogger. Well, if you want that lifestyle, that life, then you have to live the lifestyle. If you're a blogger, you have to put out blog articles. You have to communicate with your audience. You have to, I'm not going to get into all the blogging nitty gritties, but the thing is that you have to build habits. You have to do the things to get the results. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's something that we really have to be honest about. I know for me, I always thought that being an entrepreneur meant working with clients. And I knew I did not want to work with clients. And so, would I want the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur? Sure. I'm sorry, the life. Did I want to live the lifestyle of working with patients? No. Until I found out that there's a million ways to make $1 million and you don't have to work with clients one-on-one, which is why I'm a blogger. So the last thing I'll say on habits is that if you want something different, then you have to do something different. Coming out of the event I was at last week, that's really been like, it's been kind of more heavier on my heart. I've been like, I was running and that thought came to me. And so asking myself every day, what am I doing different than what I was doing before to achieve the goals that I want to achieve? So our habits are important. And then the last piece is community. Now, when I was on this call with the students who were at the live event, we talked about community and I said, okay, now moving forward, what are you doing next? At Smart Success Healthcare, that was my business coach, Greg Todd's event, he presented an offer. Smart Success Healthcare Platinum Mastermind? Yeah, his Platinum Mastermind. So he presented an offer. A couple of the dietitians took him up on that offer. Several of the people who were there live are in my blogging accelerator programs. So they're in a community with me. We're on calls every 2 weeks like clockwork with my platinum program. And so I was asking people, like, what are you doing moving forward? What community are you going to surround yourself? Is it going to be Greg's community? Is it my community? Or is it something else? But we need to be in community. We need to be in the right rooms with the right people. People who are like on sync with our big goals. And I know as a side hustle, some of you, you're like, yeah, I want to work with clients. Some of you are like, I want to be a freelancer. Some of you are like, I want to be a blogger, right? We all have different goals. But are you in a community of like minded people who are going to push you, encourage you, help you, support you to achieve your goals? I'm a part of Greg Todd's Smart Success Healthcare Inner Circle. That's like his highest level mastermind. And the reason I'm a part of that community is because the people in it, they push me, they inspire me, they see greatness in myself that I can't see. And they speak so much truth into my life that eventually I start believing them. And my brain catches up. And I think of back when they all told me to leave my job back when I was, still a dietitian side hustler, still working full time. And I remember when my mastermind friends told me to leave my job, and I'm like, y'all are crazy. But that was simply a limiting belief I had in my head that that wasn't possible, but they were able to lovingly remove my limiting beliefs. There's also this quote that a rising tide raises all ships. And I will say that is so true. The people that I hang out with, we have different conversations. We dream big. We help people. Like, it's such an amazing community. And watching other people do big things inspires me to do big things. So we are built for community. We are meant to do things together. And so that's why I asked all of them, like, what are you going to do moving forward? Because without the community, without the support, it's really easy to kind of just fizzle out and not reach our big audacious goals. So I'm going to summarize that. My 4 biggest tips for having success in business and side hustling, entrepreneurship. Take action, because action leads to momentum. So keep going. Set goals, big audacious goals, but break them down into realistic steps and go back to your goals regularly. Keep looking at them, pivot, twist, and turn if you need to. Create habits. Create habits that serve you. Do the things that you know you need to do. Stop doing the things you know that don't serve you, and create the habits to become the person who has the things you want. And then finally, community. Put yourself in the right rooms with the right people, and we all grow together. So, this event we did was so fun. I remember we were getting off the call. I didn't even want to get off. Everyone's still on. I'm like, I don't want to get off. I just like hanging out with you guys. But I shared how I'm doing my BAP Accelerator cohort starting tonight. Now, if you watch this later and you're like, shoot, it's Tuesday or whatever, reach out to me and we can chat more. But, the doors are technically closing when we have our welcome call, because, like, it's our welcome call. So we're having a welcome call for BAP Accelerator tonight, which is Monday, June 10th at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Now, I'm just going to kind of rehash what this program is, because it kind of incorporates all of the things that we just talked about right now. So BAP Accelerator is a self-paced course. My higher tier program, my platinum community, is a $6,000 program. I have a lot of people who are like, I want to start blogging, I want to build a blog business, but I'm not ready to invest a year of my time to invest, that level of finances right now, but I want to get started. So the Accelerator is a self-paced course. It is a self-paced 5-week course designed to help get you started. It's a $997 program with payment plan starting at $105. But it's designed to help get you started. So figuring out your blog business. What am I going to blog about? Learning search engine optimization, bringing people to your website, coming up with topics that you could write about that will bring people to your website. Building the website if you don't have one, or if you have one, auditing it, making sure it's ready to rock and roll for SEO, and then creating your first blog article and making a plan moving forward. So this course is meant to be self-paced. You buy it, you do it your own pace. Now, there's some bonus videos in there you could watch where we actually did live cohorts when I started kind of rolling it out. So you could always watch those and act like you're live, but it's self-paced. And the cool thing about this program is you can get started with it. And then if you decide, okay, I want to do platinum later, you could roll that investment up to the next level. So it's a great way to get started, take action, and then when you're ready, move to the big shebang. But with this particular cohort, again, I've stopped doing live calls with this particular course, but a week before I went to the live event, 2 weeks before I went to this live event in Florida, I was like, I want to do something with a group. I want to do some live calls. I want to support people because I understand the power of community, of showing up together, of accountability, of pushing each other to do something great. So I made this decision kind of last minute. I was like, okay, I'm going to do a webinar next week. I did my blogging as a business webinar, and did a little bit of promotions before I left. I've done some promotions since I've gotten back. We have 17 people who are in this cohort. So it's an amazing group, mostly dietitians, but we have some other professions. I know there's an OT in there, occupational therapist. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to work together with people who want to start their online businesses, learn blogging, learn SEO, and work with them throughout summer. Because what a lovely summer project, right? Building your online business, your online platform that you can make money through multiple streams of income. So we're having a welcome call tonight, and then we will have 5 other calls, and they're going to be just calls to complement what the coursework you'll be doing on your own. Time wise, because I know it's like, you know, we're moving into summer. I understand that a lot of you are side hustlers. Things get busy in summer. The coursework is designed to take 5 to 7 hours of work per week. So, really, the way I do things, it's like, here's what you need to know. Now go do it, because we actually learn the best by doing it. So, we're starting tonight. 6 live calls, amazing community. I always do a fun challenge too, where you get points for showing up live, and then we do a drawing at the end for prizes. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be motivational. I remember I was talking to some dietitians who were on some weekly live calls with me before, and they're like, oh, I just couldn't wait till our calls. Like they look forward to them all week because it's encouraging, it's exciting, and all of these things. It's the action, the momentum, keeping going, developing these habits, being in the right community, and setting big audacious goals, and then doing the work. So if you're at all interested in working it with me through my programs, you can go to katiedodd.com to sign up. If it's past June 10th at 5 o'clock, I know Facebook algorithms are pretty junky these days, so most of you aren't seeing this. I think the whole time I've been talking, let's see, if you're still watching this on replay, comment replay below. But over the last 21 minutes of me talking, I think only 3 people have actually hopped on. There's like over 5,000 people. I think we're almost at 6,000 people in the group. I've talked to other people, and there's something going on with Facebook groups and engagement and lives, but that's okay. I'm still going to be here every Monday at 5:30 Eastern time to serve you guys. If you ever want to catch me live, this is the time to see me. You can ask questions. You can let me know ahead of time. Hey, Katie, can you talk about this? But this community is meant to support you and serve you as you're moving forward. If you want to work with me more closely, go to katiedodd.com. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. If it was, go ahead and let me know which of those 4 things stood out to you the most. Taking action, setting goals, creating habits, and community. So have the best week. Bye, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Now, as always, if you want to learn more about the ways that we could work together, go to katiedodd.com. This is my Linktree page, and it has all the different ways we could work together, including how to join the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group if you're not already there. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll be here next week. Bye, guys.